Good morning and good evening to you all, depending on where you're watching me from. Welcome to the Raging Hot Mic podcast, and I hope you all are having a good week, and I wish you a smashing weekend ahead. Today, we are going to talk about the decision by the federal government to borrow 20 trillion naira in order to finance the 2026 budget. 20 trillion. Not billion, not million, 20 trillion. Why is it a concern? Now, let me take you back memory lane. Today is going to be like a class session, but it's more of economics. It's going to be more of economics, and I want you guys to understand. I'm not going to rush it. I'm going to take it easy, so it's going to be very, very easy for understanding. Now, I always go with the statements. When I talk about these politicians and I hold them accountable, I go with the statements they've made or their actions. I don't just go with my perception. I use their words against them and what they've done and what they said. Back in August this year, listen to this statement. We have met our revenue target for the year and we met it in August. Today, I stand before you to brag. Nigeria is not borrowing a dime from local banks to run the economy. These are the words of no one else but the President of Nigeria, President Tinubu. This is what he said far back in August. He made it known that we've met our target. We not only met our target, but we met it in August. We still had 4 months to run. We already met our target and we aren't going to borrow. But I tell you, that was a political statement. That was a statement for the poor man on the street who doesn't understand how economics works. That's a statement for the young man or the young lady who is going through daily life struggle that they don't pay attention to all this. But guess what? You have people like me who is going to hold this government accountable, who is going to make you understand that they are playing with us. If you are watching me and you like what I'm doing, smash the like button, follow, like, subscribe, and share. Now, the president made this statement in order to make it look like the country was doing well. This particular government have always prided themselves as people who recover money, who create money. This is why when you argue with folks in the southwest, they tell you Lagos State internally generated money is 50 billion, 70 billion, 80 billion, 1 trillion. That doesn't matter. No one cares about how much you generate. It only becomes a problem when you don't generate enough or when you don't have funds. We don't go around asking for countries who generate money. Does the US generate more money than Japan? Does China generate? No one cares how much you generate internally. It depends on how you spend the money. That's the most important thing. It is only when you don't spend it wisely that you can be looked at. Oh, maybe I could generate more. I could do this. No one. Generating of income is not something to brag. It's not something to say. The average man, it doesn't influence the average man. It does because he can generate 60 billion and blow it all. It doesn't. What the average man knows is the inflation, is the unemployment numbers, is the Gini ratio, the ratio between the richest and the poor, is the human development index. What is education? What is standard of living? What is the cost of living? What is the literacy rate? What is the life expectancy rate? That is what the common man is concerned with, not how much you generate, not 60 billion that you generate. Now, he said this back in August, just 4 months after, we are going to international community to borrow 20 trillion. Okay, this is where I have a problem with this. I listen to folks also criticize the West, talk all smack about the US, about China, about UK. Oh, the problem is from the West. If only they will let us grow. Is the UK, is the this? But I tell you, when next they tell you that, you ask them these tough questions. These politicians who make the UK, I'm not saying the Western world are not to don't have a part to play or role to play. That's not what I'm saying. I am saying that what they are saying is political statements. These are political statements. Now, this is how you tackle when they say this. This is how you tackle their statements. When these government officials are sick, do they go to the UK? If the UK is the problem, if the US is why do you keep flying to the same country you accuse of being the problem of Nigeria? Why don't you stay in General Hospital Ikeja to be treated? Why does the state governor have to even leave his state? Why don't you stay in General Hospital KB to be treated? Why do you have to go to Spain? I thought you just told us that Spain is our problem. I thought you just told us that Spain don't want us to develop. Why are you traveling to Spain? Why are your kids schooling in the UK? Why are your kids schooling in Oxford University? Why are your kids schooling in University of Manchester? Why are your kids schooling in Massachusetts Institute of Technology? Why are they going to those schools? I thought you just told us those countries are the problem of Africa. I thought you just told us those countries don't want Africa to prosper. Why don't you stay back in Africa and make Africa prosper? So you find out they are making political statements. They criticize these countries, they still go back to these countries and borrow money. You borrow money from the US, you borrow money from the UK, borrow money from Bank of America, but yet you claim Bank of America is the problem of Africa. You are saying something else, you are doing something else. You don't talk the talk. You are just saying, so you are contradicting yourself. If this person is your problem, why not isolate this person and do your homework? When the international community demands for climatic change and Nigeria to cut down gas, they will tell you the international community cannot tell us we're a sovereign country. We're a sovereign country, but you keep borrowing. To fund your budget, you are borrowing. It's not even time of emergency. It's not like we had like Hurricane Katrina. God forbid, it's not like we had hurricane or we had natural disaster. It's not like a COVID or whatever. You are borrowing to fund your budget. That tells you how backward we are. Now, let me go further. This is a problem. I'll ask, where is the reported revenue from 2025? thought we've met our budget. Where's the revenue? If revenue targets were met months in advance as claimed, why is the country facing a deepening financial deficit and planning? Why are we having issues when we met our targets in 2025? Not just that also, but this is also a massive problem. Let me tell you how this is done. These guys get the smart guys, the accountants, the economists, the very, very smart guys. They write the numbers, they cook the numbers, they cook everything. They use these numbers, how much they're expecting, how much they're going to, this is how much is going to go to a national hospital. We are going to help 50 general hospitals buy beds for 50. The police is going to have $60 billion. We are going to buy guns. They take all these numbers, go to the international community, go to these countries or these agencies that lend money, get the money, get the loan, because they are going to look at what you've written down. Once they get the money, the 20 trillion, the next thing is to implement whatever they wrote. You have a paper of your plan. After you get the funds, you wrote down for your father. Those of you that went to university, we write down a list of things. Biology test is $600, 10,000 naira. Oh, we have a project we are writing. You write it down. You give to your parents. Your parents give you the money. You take the money and then implement and do what you've written down. They don't do that. They abandon that. Once they get the funds, they abandon the projects. So that is why till date, the 2024 budget is yet to be implemented. We are talking of 2026 right now. We have not implemented 2024. We have not even thought the book, the paper they wrote down 2025 is locked down in the basement with dust. It has gathered all dust. Nobody has even gone to where 2025 is right now. So what we are not even going by the paper we used to borrow the money. So these people might claim health is 700 billion because they want to build 700 hospitals. Once they get the money, they abandon it. They go and buy paracetamol and they send it down to the hospitals or give them paracetamol. So the problem is the implementation and not the borrowing. If these guys are borrowing it in order to use it for production, it's going to be different. But they are not borrowing for production. They are borrowing to pay jumbo salaries for senators. You hear Congress people claim they don't earn more than 1 million. They always tell us, oh, we don't earn more than 1 million. That's what they always tell us. And if you check online, you will see that salaries, I don't think it's more than 1 million a year, a month. Like 1 million. But yet, what they don't tell you is constituency allowance. Why are they earning constituency allowance? Are they governors? They're meant to make laws. They're not meant to borrow. They're not meant to buy sewing machine. I'm not saying it's not good. No, it's good. But bulk of the money, 80% of the money, they eat it. They waste it. They spend it. They mismanage it. They use the rest 20% to buy barrow, to buy machete and share in the community and say it's for young people to use and cut grasses. So bulk of their money is coming through constituency. How much is the constituency? You don't know how much it is. Go to online. You have your phone. Check how much. There's no source. It's paid in secret. No transparency. If you check the budget, there's no place for constituency allowance, but yet they pay them to our members in Congress. Go check. I challenge you. Go and check how much. When they bring all the expenses every year, the fact. Go and check whether you see constituency allowance. We only know about constituency allowance because of the aides of these senators, of these senators. What of security vote? How much is security vote? Do they tell us? A governor tell you, back then, Owelo Rachel Sakaracha, then governor of Imo State, said, oh, he's not going to touch his salary. He's going to dedicate his salary for school children. They're going to pay salaries to class monitors. They clapped hand. I remember back then, he said from today, even class prefects are going to be paid salary. Education, he donates how much is his salary. But he had the security. Do you know how much is security vote? Go and check it. We don't know. It's not public. It's not transparent. So these guys have not implemented 2024. They've not implemented 2025, but they want to borrow for 2026. So the main thing driving them is the borrowing. The borrowing is the main objective. Just borrow. Now, what are the implications of this borrowing? Let's go further. Now, what are the implications of this borrowing? Borrowed funds wrote down and analyzed big statistical calculations on implementation of this fund just to borrow. They borrow and they abandon the implementation. Now, this high rate of borrowing without commensurate budget executions fuels a cycle of debt servicing. Now, let me go into debt servicing now. This is very important. I wanted to go into this very fast. Debt servicing now. Nigeria, as of 2025, our debt servicing was 39.5% of our revenue. So what does it mean? You remember you borrowed money and you have to pay two things. You have to pay principal. That is, you borrow 5,000, you're paying the principal on that 5,000. So you told me, give me 5 months, I'll pay you back your 5,000. I'm going to pay you 1,000 every month. The 1,000 you're paying is the principal. You also have what is called the interest on that money, because I would have given that money to somebody else. I would have put that money in a stock. I would have used that money for production. So since I'm borrowing you have to give me interest. That's the money I make from borrowing you. And also this comes with a risk. I can borrow you and you don't pay me back. So they raise the interest, they increase the interest in such a way that by the time you pay for 2 months, you've already paid the 5,000 you borrowed. Because you can decide not to pay them in the 3rd month. That's how they do. The interest is, they can give you 10% interest. And this 10%, even if it's remaining 1,000, you're still paying the 10%. And they spread it. So Nigerian debt servicing is now 45%. 45%. That means for every 1 naira we make, we are using 45 kobo to pay back the money we collected, or the loan we collected. That means for every 1 naira, once 1 naira revenue come, once we sell oil, once you pay your taxes, for every 1 naira you pay as tax, 45 kobo is going to repay the debt or the loan they're collecting. For every 1 naira you pay as your tax, 45 is going for this. 45 kobo is going for this money these guys are borrowing. It was 39, it was 32, it climbed to 39, now it's 45. So maybe before the end of this government, it will go to 80. By the time it gets to 100, that means we are not making any money. So we are making money. When I mean revenue, I mean seaport, custom duty, import duty. I mean fines you pay in courts. I mean oil money. I mean taxes. So everyone, all the revenue, if it becomes 100% debt financing, that means all the money we are making is going to pay revenue, is going to pay debt. So no development, no schools, no road, no light. So you should be alarmed. It's not 45, it's climbing. You should be alarmed. Now, for every 1 naira you pay as tax, 45 kobo is going to repay this debt. It's climbing. It was 39 last year. Now it's 45. It's going to be 45 once they borrow this money. So how can we develop as a country? Remember, they are paying jumbo salaries. Our congressmen are the highest earning congress people in the world. We have over 100 senators. 36 plus 6 plus 3 plus 1 in Abuja also. House of Assembly. Kano states can have up to 10. House of Representatives. Kano, I think, has up to 10. Some states have 6. All these guys earn money. We have how many special advisors the president has? Maybe he has. Governors alone have more than 30 special advisors, special assistants. Even if they pay them 150,000 naira every month, you know how much it is? I mean, one wage is 70,000. This is the sort of thing I look and I tell you, it's going to be difficult for us to develop. Forget what they tell you. You do the calculation. I'm telling you, I'm earning money. I'm a big boy. I'm a baller. I'm driving Mercedes. I'm doing this. Yet, when you check my account, you go to my account, you find out that every 1 naira I make, I'm already owing somebody. I'm using 45 kobo to pay them. And I'm telling you, I will still pay you back. You think will you borrow me that money? So what these politicians are telling you, like, I'm a baller, give me, I have this house, I have this thing. That's what but you look at now, this sort of statistics is the bank accounts, the unfiltered one, the raw one that we are going to check. The background check we are doing. We're not going by what they're telling us. The background information is what I'm telling you. At 45%, how can we grow? And then after some time, we'll talk about debt financing. Oh, debt forgiveness. This we were forgiving from zero as far back under Obasanjo. Now we have climbed to 45 in less than 26 years or 20 years. In 20 years, we've racked it up again. And you think we are going to grow? You think we are going to develop? I don't know if you guys are understanding me. We want to hold government accountable. We want to hold these guys responsible. We want them to be transparent. So, I don't know. They want to borrow. They just want to borrow. They just every second is borrowing. They live on borrowing. They are created to borrow. They are appointed. They are elected to borrow. The money comes from the borrowing. They are thinking of how to borrow. Because in 4 years, they are out. They want David Mark approved. David Mark is no longer in power. They want Kenny Namani approved. Kenny Namani is no longer in power. They will do 8 years and go. Akpabio is not empowered. He will borrow because when he borrows, at least it gets to him. In 8 years, he's gone. It's a problem of another person. It's a problem of another government. Let's do better. Let's hold these government officials accountable. Let's hold them accountable. Thank you. Smash the like button. Subscribe. Share. Have a good one.